Yes, please, Mahmoud.
Yeah, so I have a very specific question regarding the training to work with CRM. My group is using Arches to develop an archaeological data set, and I wanted to help them just to understand a bit how can we design resource models within Arches, which is our structures built based on the CRM. So I was just wondering if there is any sort of training materials that we can use, or training courses that we can try to point them towards, because this is, like the CRM looks intimidating on the first look. So yeah, I try to ease this process a little bit.
Perfect. I think other people aside from me might also have answers, so I'll just jump in with mine first. So the first answer is that question sort of crosses the question of both learning CRM and learning Arches. And actually, there's a group that I should have mentioned in that list. I'm also a part of it. Called the Arches Resource Modeling Working Group. And it's creating, it's based in the Getty, but it's a community group beyond the Getty. And its goal is to try to make some initial models that give some modeling patterns for how to build out Arches in a way that's consistent with good linked open data practice. So I will make sure to find the links for that and share them out. But they're both creating sort of general data about thinking about through ontologies, and then very specifically packages for loading some branches and models that are already well structured to give us examples in how to build out Arches. So that's one piece of advice. I think Rob came online, so he might have something he wants to say.
Just to also say that as part of the linked art work, we try to test various implementations to make sure that we are not designing patterns and APIs that are really hard to implement. One of those implementation patterns is Arches. So if you would like a linked art set of resource models, we have them pre-built. And as you can imagine, with George and I in both of those communities, that if not absolutely identical, they are almost identical to the Arches resource modeling working group models. Those ones sort of go beyond some of the linked data aspects that linked art tries to draw its scope at.
And not to shamelessly plug my own things, but the game, if I mean, there is a certain, if you're working in a situation where you want to talk with colleagues about semantics itself and make them less abstract, then you could check out the game website, which has a bunch of different versions of the game that have been designed to talk to different communities. So it might be, it tends to be a good way to break the ice on the semantics topic.
Thank you. Yeah, any links would be great help. So thank you.
Yes, there's the old hat of the online tutorial.
Yes. In fact, I'll talk to the, I mean, I don't want to search around for links right now, but I'll talk to the organizers of the best way to share a sort of list or whatever. But there's a number of resources to point you to, including video tutorials, etc. Are there other questions or concerns, or people who want to talk about, I mean, their work with CIDOC CRM, or their interests in CRM SIG or concerns about how to join or communicate? Well, either I explain things very well or
George, I mean, maybe I can contribute something, which a comment I made in the previous session for Linked Art as well, to say that these groups are very inclusive, and they're really welcoming new members. It wasn't so long ago that I was a new member in the SIG and Linked Art, and I did feel that the older members almost they were really happy that new people wanted to join the group and follow the meetings. And of course the meetings themselves are very educational, so okay, there are periods of time in the meeting where the modeling discussions go very deep, but there's always time to reflect on questions from from more recent members, and really help them catch up with the discussion. I mean, that's my experience, and I think it's important. Sometimes, I was thinking as a new member, I was thinking, oh, can I really ask that question on the mailing list? And I felt that, if I do ask that question, people will think I don't know what I'm talking about, which was absolutely true, of course. But the mailing list is there for that reason, and the meetings are there for that reason. And I think people shouldn't feel that this initial barrier of understanding the CRM or the Linked Art model should be a problem. The meetings and the community is there for that, exactly for that reason. And sorry, you are muted, but I'll just say one more thing. Also, we need to make sure that we thank the older members in these groups, and the work that you, George, and Rob and Stephen and many other members do in these groups is, most of it, I know, is voluntary work, and it's really serving the community. So while you are here, while you're still sort of so active on these groups, I think we need to, the newer members need to take full advantage of your knowledge and experience. That's my comment.
I think that, I think that's a really great point. And yeah, thinking about this more as a conversation, like this year has been really terrible, mostly, and Zoom is also not awesome. But it really, and it's a bit cliche now to say, oh, well, there's more participation, but we have been able to have people come that otherwise normally couldn't come, and it's expensive to do these meetings around Europe, and if Europe is far away from you, it's not possible, and so, or it can be not possible. So it would be, for people who are here who are working hands-on with CIDOC CRM, via Linked Art or via your own specialist project, your knowledge is welcome in the CRM SIG, and so we would really like to hear about the projects that are happening, and if you've created new things with CRM, like it shouldn't be a top-down process. It's always emphasize that it's a bottom-up process. So, if you're doing projects where you're applying CRM for archaeological work, we would love to hear about it, and we'd love to hear, especially where it's where you've created something new, or where something doesn't work, or if there are technical questions or whatever. Just come and join the meeting, and at worst, you've wasted half an hour, and maybe you'll end up wasting half your life.
Not like us.
Joking, of course.
It's a very compelling argument.
No, but I can see names on here of people who are doing practical work with the CIDOC CRM, and I know that I mean in the past it was a real. I mean there's also like just a barrier of finding funding and time and whatever to join the CRM SIG. But now that we've gone online, it could be a good moment to really invite everybody to. I mean, just get in contact with us and maybe join a meeting or two, and if it's really catches your imagination, then maybe you and your institution will become a member. It would be great to have to share the work and build interesting things together.
George, maybe it'd be worth spending a little bit more time on the extensions to that end about building things together, that if there are particular areas of interest, then there's not a requirement to engage with the core conceptual modeling of CRM base. There are these extensions which have their own groups and so on.
That's a good point. And so I mean, I didn't explain that very clearly. So we have CRM base, which is what the CRM SIG is primarily dealing with. And then we try to facilitate work on all these different family models where there's really a different area of focus and interest, archaeology or library science. And there are subgroups which are working more specifically on those questions, and they're on the site. If you click through in the appropriate part, you'll find that they each have their own subsites. They have their own issue sets, their own resources, and so on and so forth. And so by going to those sites, you can find who's working in that area and get in touch with them. And so if you're less interested in the retooling of the high-level ontology dealing with organizing how to reason with space-time, but you are interested in organizing digitization or digital information, then that could be a much and there's so much work to be done. I mean, for example, there's these questions of provenance, these questions of archive. So there's many things to be done. And there are different actors, and you can see the ones that are officially there on the following the links on the website. But you can definitely engage not just at this highest level, but at the level that's of practical interest to you. And if it doesn't exist, if you don't see it identified, then you can propose it, and that's how we can make this thing grow and be more grounded in the community.
Yeah.
Well,
excuse me.
Yes.
Hi, George. Thank you very much for your insights. Just a quick remark. I'm here on the CIDOC CRM game platform because that's this little gamification experiment that you have done seems very promising. Congratulations. But I am having trouble actually accessing to games.
Yes, to answer your question there, the card games should be accessible. So if you have, I mean, the actual like PDF downloadable card games should be accessible. The online game, there was an edition made in Unity, which you could download, but it was very bleeding edge development. So it's not presently on the website, but if you want to learn more about it, just contact me in direct, and I'll try to resuscitate it or see what I can do.
Okay, thank you. You're very kind. Thank you.
Well, if there aren't any other questions, then I would just, I think I tried to make, I did, okay. Yes, I just wanted to thank everybody for coming here, and I know it can be kind of awkward to have a 40-person conversation. The game is not only in French, it has multiple languages. So I just wanted to share this. It's probably not GDPR compliant, but I thought if you've come this far to be in this session and you're interested in learning more about CRM SIG, then you're welcome. I just put a link to a spreadsheet here. If you just want to drop in your name and your email and maybe your particular interest, we could, if you're interested in being on the CRM SIG list, then CRM SIG list, yes, question? Then we could add you en masse rather than you having to go about and look how to do it and so on and so forth. And we're getting very close to time. Yeah, just wanted to say again, thank you for joining, and feel free to reach out to me or anybody else on the SIG. You can find us on the website, and look forward to hopefully working with you in various combinations in the future. Anything else other SIG people want to say? Nope.
No, just to say thank you, George, for giving the presentation today and organizing all this. That's very helpful.
Okay, thank you everyone for coming, and hope to see you in the rest of the conference and on. Thank you.
Thank you.